Welcome to the Wednesday's online program of ISKCON of Silicon Valley. First of all, I would like to offer my obeisances to my Siksha Gurus and to my spiritual master. And I would like to offer my obeisances to all the exalted Vaishnavas who are assembled here and who are listening to the recording and who will listen to the recording in future. So we'll do the Mangalacharan prayer first, and then we can do one bhajan and then we'll get started. So today's topic will be Glories of Gadadhara Pandit. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavobhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Matsamo nasti papatma naparadi cha kaschana parihare pilajja me kimbruve purushottama. Yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatau yatha mano bhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai. Bhumau skalitapadanam bhumireva avalambanam tvai jata paradanam tvameva sharanam prabho. Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prarthe Tvamaham Sada Tvadiyam Iti Janatu Govindo Mam Tvaya Saha. Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripaya Nijapadabja Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyatam. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari. Katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. Samsara dukkha jalado pratitasya kama krodadinakramakare kavalikritasya durvasana nigaditasya nirashrayasya Chaitanya chandramama dehi padavalambam. Hare Krishna. So today we would like to discuss the glories of Gadadhara Pandit. So next week we have Vrindavan Das Thakur's appearance day, as well as we also have the appearance day of Gadadhara Pandit. So Vrindavan Das Thakur has written Chaitanya Bhagavat, glorifying all the Chaitanya Leela, and then in this auspicious occasion we'll remember and we'll see some of the glories of Gadadhara Pandit. So in that connection we will do a bhajan and then we'll get started. So Prabhu, can I share the screen?
Yes, Prabhu, you can. Are you able to share the screen?
I didn't try yet. I'm trying right now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I cannot share, Prabhu. It's saying host
Okay.
disable participant sharing screen.
Okay, let me see. Let me go. Maybe I'll have to make you host.
Or maybe make me a co-host or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare
Okay, Prabhu, can you try now?
Yes, Prabhu. Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes, I can see. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So you see both the screens, right?
I only see the screen KK songs.
Yeah, but do you see like both of them or only one?
I can see only one screen.
Only one window? Okay. In that case, I have to do a full screen sharing.
Yeah, now we can see two windows. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. Very good.
So this is a very, very big bhajan. And then we'll only do 6 stanzas in the interest of time. And this goes in the same meter as Sachi Sutta Ashtakam. Nava Gauravaram Navam Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Yadi te Haripad Saroja Sudhara Sapana Param Udayam Satatam Parihrityataham Kalibhavamayam Bhajagotrumakanan Kunjavidham Dhanayavana Jivana Rajasukam Nahi Nityamanukshana Yajagramya Kata Sakalam Vifalam Bhajagotrumakanan Kunjavidham Ramani Jana Sangha Sutam Tasate Charame Bhayadam Purusharthaharam Harinama Sudhara Samatamatir Bhajagotrumakanan Kunjavidham Jadakāvyaraso nahi kāvyarasa Kalipāvana gauraraso virasa Alamantyagaranushīranaya Bhajagotrumakanan kunjavidham Vadayamunatiravanadripate Vadagokulakanana punjarave Vadarasarasayana Gaura Hare Bhajagotrumakanan kunjavidham Chalagauravanam Navakandamayam Padagaura Hare Charitani Nuda Utagaura Padam Kitahangatatam Bhajagotrumakanan kunjavidham Smara Gadadhara Chekalam Bhava Gadadhara Pakshmachara Shrunu Gadadhara Charukatam Bhajagotrumakanan kunjavidham. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. So the meaning of, thank you so much, Avnish, for playing the mridanga. So the meaning of this song is we are discussing Gadadhar Pandit's pastime. So Smara Gaura Gadadhara Keli Kalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shrunu Gaura Gadadhara Charu Katam Bhaja Godruma Karana Kunja Vidum. So this particular poem is actually written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, The name is Sri Godruma Chandra. So he's saying that, let's quickly read the meaning of second verse here. So, Dhana Yavana Jivana Rajya Sukham, material riches, youth, long duration of life, and royal happiness, none of these are eternal. At any moment, they may be destroyed. Give up all useless topics of mundane conversation and just worship Lord Gaura, the moon of Godruma's forest bowers. And then he says towards the end, remember the pastimes of Gaura and Gadadhara. Become a servant of Gaura and Gadadhara. Listen to the beautiful narrations concerning Gaura and Gadadhara and just worship Lord Gaura, the moon of Godruma's forest bowers. So today we will make that attempt. We will remember the pastimes of Gaura and Gadadhar. And, by serving Radharani, we get Krishna. So similarly, by serving Gadadhara, we get the love of Gaura, Gaurachandra. So that's a beautiful song written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Prabhuji, you're not seeing any screen right now, right? It's unshared, right?
It is answered now, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu.
So first of all, before I begin again, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances and seek permission and blessings from my Siksha Gurus and my spiritual master and all the devotees, exalted devotees who are assembled here and who are listening to the recording, as well as who will listen to the recording in the future. I seek your permission and blessings. And today we will discuss the pastimes of Gadadhar Pandit. So Gadadhar Pandit, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he writes, Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. So in this shloka, he is saying that, let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna, who has manifested himself in 5 as a devotee expansion of a devotee. He first came as a devotee, expansion of a devotee, incarnation of a devotee, pure devotee, and devotional energy. So Bhakta Rupa here is in the form of a devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came as Bhakta Rupa. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna and Radharani combined. And Bhakta Swarupakam, it is the expansion of a devotee, and that is Nityananda Prabhu. He is Balaram, none other than Balaram. And Bhakta Avataram is the incarnation of a devotee, who is Sri Advaita Acharya. He is the great Sadashiva and Mahavishnu combined avatar, Bhakta Avataram. Bhaktakyam is known as a devotee. So he came as Srivas Thakur. Swayam Narad Muni, he came as Srivas Thakur. And I offer my respectful obeisances. Bhakti Shaktikam is the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Radharani. She came as Gadadhar Pandit. So Radharani is unlimited, and Radharani is non-different than Krishna. So here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is already a combination of Radha and Krishna. Now, why is there a need of Gadadhar Pandit, who is again Radharani, coming separately? So this is one of the mysteries. We'll see one reason now, and towards the end of the presentation today, we will see few other reasons why we have Gadadhar Pandit, who is Radharani, as a separately she came, and while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also a combined avatar, combined appearance of Radha and Krishna. So here Radharani is unlimited, and Radharani is also non-different than Krishna. And Radha and Krishna are actually one. So Krishna is the enjoyer and Radharani is the enjoyed. and they are unlimited. And in this divine Swarup, Gadadhar Pandit is actually coming to give pleasure to Krishna. So Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, who is unlimited. And in order to give pleasure to Krishna, manifest the pleasure, Gadadhar Pandit has come separately, who is Radharani herself. So Gadadhar Pandit is born, and the father is born to Mahadava Mishra is the father, and Ratnavali is the mother. Gadadhar Pandit also had a brother named Vaninath Mishra. So some of the childhood pastimes of Gadadhar Pandit is, so if you see, Gadadhar is from Chattagaon, but they later moved to Navadvip. And when they moved, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at that time, he was Nimai Pandit, and he was about 12 years or 13 years. And Gadadhar Pandit was 1 year younger, and Gadadhar Pandit was 12 years. So they are very similar in age. And in the childhood, they used to be always, they used to go together, they used to live together, they used to sleep together, they used to have fun together, they used to eat together, and they used to go out and play together. And in this way, they have a lot of attachment since the childhood days itself. But when they are going to school, interestingly, their personalities are completely different. Now, if you see Gadadhar Pandit, so Gadadhar Pandit is very, very respectful, and he is always thinking of Radha and Krishna, and very, very, he wants to be in seclusion and always want to spend time thinking about Krishna and thinking about Radharani. So that is the nature of Gadadhar Pandit. And whereas Nimai Pandit is very restless. So Nimai is very restless, and he gets into a lot of arguments. When he goes out, he learned grammar, and then he used to call people for debates. So he used to go and challenge people. He used to ask a question, and then when they answer the question, which is also right, and they give the Shastric evidence, Nimai Pandit was so intelligent. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So he used to tear all those arguments into pieces, and then he would give a totally different reason, and he used to convince them. And after they are convinced, then says that this is also wrong. And in that way, he used to again give several reasons to counter argue his own proposition. And that way, he used to pick up all these arguments. And at some point, it is said that people used to try to avoid Nimai, because when Nimai is coming, they will be thinking, oh, Krishna, now Nimai, if I go near him, he is going to ask me some question. And if I'm not able to answer, he will say, you go and get prepared. Come back with preparation. When I give the answer, he is going to defeat me for sure. And I don't want to face this situation. So people used to, when Nimai is going, they used to not enter that street at all. Or if they see, they used to immediately turn back and go, so that they don't want to get into any arguments with Nimai. And Nimai used to go, and he used to make fun of all the people who are bathing in the river Ganga. He used to go and pull the hair of the Brahmanas, and while they are dipping, he used to take some water and blow the water on them. And then he used to tease the girls and say them, some of the girls will be young girls, they'll be worshipping Lord Shiva to get a good husband. So he will go and say that, why are you worshipping Lord Shiva? I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You worship me. And some girls used to immediately give some of the food that they got to Nimai, and then he would bless them nicely. Oh, you will get a good husband. And if somebody says that no, this is not for you, this is for offering to the deity of Shiva, then he used to sarcastically curse them that, oh, you will get an old husband and you will have to share your husband with many other co-wives. So like that, he used to tease and he used to make a lot of fun with all these people. So that is the nature of Nimai. And he's completely engrossed into this grammar. He's completely engrossed into the studies of all these scriptures and the learning. And he's so great. And he also defeated the Digvijay Pandit, who is Keshav Kashmiri. Once he came, and on the bank of Ganges, his friends said, oh, this Keshav Kashmiri is the topmost. So in those days, he is the best scholar. And then that's why he's called Digvijay Pandit. So he also defeated him. And like that, so the whole situation is Nimai is completely in that way. So he's completely restless. He's always arguing and he's always picking up some kind of these kind of naughty things with others. Whereas Gadadhar Pandit is completely opposite. And so Gadadhar also, he used to go to Gadadhar and he used to ask a lot of questions and he used to engage him in debates. So now looking at all these things, Gadadhar wants to avoid him, but at the same time, Gadadhar can't. Um, Even in separation from Nimai, he used to feel so much separation. He cannot come in front of Nimai as well as he cannot go away from Nimai. So that is the situation of Gadadhar Pandit. And so it is a very tricky situation for Gadadhar. And all the devotees, Srivas Thakur, Gadadhar Pandit, and all his friends, and everybody was praying, oh, this Nimai, if he becomes a devotee, he's so engrossed in this grammar and all this learning and the debates, he's getting into these kind of arguments. But if he becomes a devotee, it will be so nice. He can convince the whole world. He can convince the whole world to take to devotional service. So that was the mood of the people, and they were intensely praying for Nimai to become a devotee. So there is one great personality named Madhavendra Puri, and so Madhavendra Puri, actually in the Vrindavan Goloka, the spiritual world, so Krishna has performs his very, very intimate and private pastimes with Radharani in the Nikunjas. So in that deep grooves of the forest, there is a very exalted and very, very beautiful wish fulfilling tree, desire tree, in that pleasure grooves of Vrindavana. And so when Krishna and Radharani were performing their intimate pastimes, they ask this wish fulfilling beautiful desire tree to go to Bhauma Vrindavan, which is the earthly planets where Krishna and Radharani would come and perform the pastimes and then appear there. And that personality who appeared is Madhavendra Puri. So we sing in the Guru Ashtakam, निकुंजयूनो रतिकेली सिद्ध्याय यायालिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम्. So this Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Siddhyai. So in order to enter into these kind of Krishna and Radha's conjugal loving affairs, this is known because the spiritual master is very dear and he is the expert who will be assisting the gopis. And this is what we pray every day. And that same from that Nikunjas came Madhavendra Puri. So this Madhavendra Puri is a very exalted personality, and once Gopal, he was actually, now he's buried in the bushes in the Vrindavan, and he appeared in the dream of Madhavendra Puri, and he says that, please take me out. And somebody like Krishna coming and asking for help, he must be a great intimate devotee, right? So Madhavendra Puri, he, according to that particular dream, and he says that Krishna is saying, the Gopal is saying that I am completely in this hot weather, I have so much heat here. So excavate me and then do Abhishek and then bring me up, put me on the asan, and then call all the devotees and celebrate the Abhishek and bring me some food, offer me all these things. I'm experiencing a lot of heat. So exactly as per the dream, Madhavendra Puri, he takes that devotee, excavates the devotee, and then gives the throne. And he was such a celebrated devotee. All the people in Vrindavan comes together, and then there is pots and pots of water, and pots of ghee, and pots of milk and yogurt. They bring a lot of preparations and do a Maha Abhishek of the Lord. And even after doing that, the Lord again appears to Madhavendra Puri and says, you have to go and get me the sandalwood. I would want the sandalwood and smear it all over my body. And that way, my body will be cooled. So, Madhavendra Puri travels, and it is like from Vrindavan to Puri, he's coming on foot, and it is a very, very dangerous forest in between. And there are a lot of dacoits. But for the pleasure of the Lord, immediately Madhavendra Puri travels from Vrindavan Dham to Puri Dham to collect some sandalwood and take it back, and so that he can make the paste and he can put it on the Lord Gopal. So while he's traveling, he comes across Remuna, and then there is one Gopinath temple there, and then he goes. And the speciality of this soul, Madhavendra Puri, is he doesn't cook for himself, and he doesn't beg. He doesn't ask anybody anything. If somebody gives him something on their own accord, he accepts that as prasadam and he eats. Otherwise, he would fast. So that is the exalted nature of Madhavendra Puri. So one day he goes to this temple near Remuna, and then he looks at the beautiful deity. And then this temple is also very famous for making kheer. So one day the pujari makes a lot of kheer, and he puts in 12 pots as an offering to the Lord. And Madhavendra Puri just looked at that pots, and he had a desire. So suddenly he started thinking, oh, this temple is so famous to making the kheer. I would like to taste this particular kheer so that I can go back and in the Gopal temple, I can make the same kheer and offer to my deity every day. So that was his thought. And suddenly he felt, oh, why am I thinking like this? First of all, I don't ask anybody anything. And then second thing is, this bhoga is offered to the Lord, and this is supposed to be enjoyed by the Lord. How am I thinking? How am I getting a feeling that I should feast on it? I should taste this thing. So he completely feels very, very bad inside. And then he's feeling so bad that, how come such a thought has arisen in my mind? This particular thing is for the bhoga of the Lord. And then he goes and he goes to a far place and in a secluded place where there are no people, and he's intensely chanting. Now the Lord understood his desire, and the Lord also wants to reciprocate with him. And he says that Lord, he appears in a dream to the pujari, and he says that one exalted devotee named Madhavendra Puri came, and then you picked up all the kheer prasadam from the temple. There is one pot left. I have personally put it behind me. I have stolen it personally to give it to Madhavendra Puri. So, my dear pujari, please go and give this to Madhavendra Puri. So, this devotee, the pujari, he gets up from the sleep, and he's the Vaishnava. He did not think that, oh, I am serving the Lord for so many years. He came in my dream and he's asking me that I have stolen this part for somebody else and not for me. He did not feel like that. He did not have any sort of envy. So because he slept, he got up, he took bath, and he entered the temple room. And behind the deity, he saw there is a pot of condensed milk, and the kheer is stolen by the Lord. So he takes that, and then as per the instruction of the Lord, he goes, and he doesn't know who is Madhavendra Puri. So at that time, he goes into that forest place in that top of the hill, and he loudly shouts, Madhavendra Puri, Madhavendra Puri. Who is Madhavendra Puri here? Who is Madhavendra Puri here? The Lord himself has stolen a pot of kheer for you. Please come and take this. So now everybody heard this, including Madhavendra Puri, and he's feeling so inconvenient, because an exalted devotee, when he is praised, he feels very, very uncomfortable. So, but the Lord has stolen the yogurt, the kheer for him. So he went and he took the pot and he honored that prasadam as Mahaprasad from the Lord. And not only that, because it is given by the Lord, it is touched by the Lord, he also broke that pot into pieces, and every day he used to eat that. He also honored that pot also. So that is the mood of Madhavendra Puri. And because everybody knew who he was by this time, he felt so uncomfortable and he doesn't want to stay in that place. So immediately, in the darkness, he left and he went to Puri. But the Lord is so kind and so interesting. His dealings with the devotees is so interesting. It is said in the Shastras that anybody who wants a reputation is like a kanya. So anybody who wants a reputation, the kanya, anybody who wants a kanya, the kanya will run away from them. But anybody who does not want the kanya will always come to them, but they don't want it. So similarly, and the kanya is always never married. So she because she goes away from the people who wants reputation, she's not married to them. And when she comes, the people who doesn't want any reputation, they also don't want. So she always remains unmarried. That is why she's called Kanya. And then so Madhavendra Puri, basically his popularity has reached Puri Dham already before he went there. And then everybody knew why Madhavendra Puri has come to Puri. So they all collected all this nice chandan, sandalwood, and gave to Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri took all that, and then he wants to walk back to Vrindavan. Now the Lord again came in his dream, and he told that I am non-different. The Gopal is saying, Gopala Vrindavan is saying, I am non-different than the Gopinath. So in that temple next to Remuna, that same deity, you can apply the chandan there. You can apply the sandalwood paste. So that way my heat will be reduced. So he goes and he applies chandan, and then he nicely serves the Lord. So that is the exalted personality, Madhavendra Puri. And he has several disciples. And his several disciples, is one among them is Ishwara Puri. And that Ishwara Puri is later gives initiation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And not only Ishwara Puri, Madhavendra Puri has Paramananda Puri as a disciple who is non-different than Uddhava. And then he also has Brahmananda Bharati, and Kashishwar Pandit, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and Govinda, and also Pundarika Vidyanidhi. So these are all the great disciples of Madhavendra Puri. And Ishwara Puri is a personal assistant and personal servant of Madhavendra Puri. So from there, later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes initiation. And so this Pundarika Vidyanidhi also is such a great personality. We'll see more. Later, he initiates Gadadhara Pandit. So Ishwara Puri, who is the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he is such an exalted personality, and he served the Lord so much. At one time, he came to Navadvip, and so at that time, although he's a very prominent disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he's very simple. And then he's also a god brother of Advaita Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. And he came to the place near Advaita Acharya's home, and then people did not even recognize him. He didn't say, "Hey, I am so and so." He did not say that. And then he has so much humility, and he has so much love for Krishna, and he's always in thoughts of Radha and Krishna. Like he is completely like a complete renunciate, and he's looking like a normal beggar. And then once Advaita Acharya comes out and he looks at him and he feels very special about this personality, and he wants to test him. So he calls Mukunda, and then he asks Mukunda, why don't you sing a beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam? So Mukunda is very, very good in singing, and he's expert singer. So he sings a very nice shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. And as soon as the shloka is being recited, there is tremors, there is a waves of ecstasy being touched in Ishwarapuri, and his body starts trembling, and his teeth starts quivering, and his whole hair standing on end, and he's displaying all these ecstatic symptoms. And Advaita Acharya is looking from a distance. Oh, he's an exalted devotee, right? And so the lesson here is basically greatness of a devotee is known by his or her taste of Krishna's holy name and Krishna Katha, how much interest they have to drink the nectar of Krishna Katha, and how much taste they have for reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and following Srimad Bhagavatam, how much they are attracted to the holy name. So that is Ishwarapuri. So later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Gaya to perform the last rites of his father. By the time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father left the planet. And then there he meets Ishwarapuri, and their meeting is beautifully described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. There is, Ishwarapuri knows that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he goes and asks for initiation, very humbly, he asks, please give me initiation. And Ishwarapuri says that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can initiate you? I mean, if that is your desire, my Lord, I will definitely fulfill your wish. And then he initiates. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to show to the world that no matter who you are, you need to have a spiritual master in order to get the love of Krishna. Without the mercy of spiritual master, without getting initiated from a bona fide spiritual master, you cannot attain Krishna. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, as a devotee, he wants to establish. He wants to establish that principle. And later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking initiation, he starts developing this. He gives the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he gives his second initiation mantras and everything. And then he's doing all that. And each time he's saying Krishna, there is waves of ecstasy coming from erupting in the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's completely seeing, as the oceans are rising as the waves are rising in the ocean, there is a small tide and there is a big tide and there is a huge tide. Like that, waves of ecstasy is erupting in his body, and his hair is standing on end, and he's jumping in the air and leaping, and is putting his hands in the air, and he's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So seeing all these, now all the devotees in Navadvip were so happy, because they are all waiting for this moment. They're all waiting. When will this Nimai become a devotee? When will this Nimai, who is into grammar, into this Vedic knowledge, into the study of these scriptures, when will he become a devotee? When will he taste the rasa of Krishna? And everybody's eagerness. And when they knew that now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got initiated, and he's only chanting, he's talking about Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he's speaking Bhagavatam, and he's talking about the glories of Krishna and glories of Srimad Bhagavatam everywhere. And that is what he's always in Krishna Katha now. No more logic. He doesn't want any of the grammar. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has turned out. And then later, Advaita Acharya, he invites, and then he does a nice arti saying Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So and then he and his wife Sita Thakurani does nice worship of Lord Chaitanya. And later all the associates came together, Nityananda Prabhu, Pundarika Vidyanidhi, Srivas Thakur, Gadadhar Pandit, and everybody. And then the Sankirtan movement is established. So Nimai, although he is the supreme personality of Godhead, he was such a scholar. He waited, and his whole appearance, one of the external reason of his appearance is to establish the Sankirtan movement. He did not start before getting the permission from Srivas Thakur to go get initiated, and before he got initiation from his spiritual master, and his spiritual master gave an instruction to carry this name all over. So until that point, he didn't even establish the Sankirtan movement. So similarly, we may have a lot of talents. We have to wait. We have to wait for our Siksha Gurus and our Diksha Gurus and our counselors to kind of give us the direction, give us the go. You can do this kind of services. And until that point, we have to discuss, we have to open our heart, and we have to talk to our counselors and our the devotees and our Siksha Gurus, and we cannot just jump and do the things just like that. So this is one of the lesson that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us. So Gadadhar Pandit is also part of this Sankirtan movement. So later we'll go to Pundarika Vidyanidhi. So Pundarika Vidyanidhi is an exalted personality, and he is actually the father of Srimati Radharani in Krishna Leela. His name is Vrishabhanu Maharaj. And that same Pundarika Vidyanidhi, he appeared. And so at some point, even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Pundarika Vidyanidhi, one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy, is in transcendental ecstasy, and he's calling out, Bap Pundarik, meaning Father Pundarik, where are you? Where are you? He's calling out. And he's weeping and crying when he's doing that. And then everybody is thinking, who is Pundarik? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling out his name and he's crying and he's weeping, and he's calling him as a father. So he's a very, very great Vaishnava. He's exalted Vaishnava. He's a very, very superior personality, but he's very, very wealthy. And then his standards, devotional standards, are so high that he would never go to river Ganges. He thought Mother Ganga is very, very pure and very holy, very merciful, and he does not want to touch the waters of Ganga with his feet. So he does not want to go there when everybody is around, and he cannot see people spitting in the waters and blowing the waters and washing clothes across Ganga. He cannot see all those things. His heart will pain because he saw Mother Ganga is so pure, and he cannot tolerate and that would, these kind of situations, when he see next to Ganga, his heart would break. So but he would go there very, very early in the morning before everybody wakes up, and he would bow down to Mother Ganga, and he would sprinkle some water on his head, and he would worship Ganga. So that is the exalted nature of Pundarika Vidyanidhi. So he lived in Chattak, also has a house in Navadvip. And when he arrived in Navadvip, at the time nobody knows him, and he is very, very humble, but he is very rich. So Mukunda knew him because Mukunda is also from Chittagong. So Mukunda once asks Gadadhar Pandit, my dear Gadadhar, I would like to take you and meet you with a very exalted Vaishnava. He's a very, very superior Vaishnava. I want you to meet him. And then he will take Gadadhar Pandit. And so Gadadhar Pandit will go, and then he will enter this big, huge palace. And the palace has such a decorations and he sees this person, Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He is looks very wealthy, and then he's wearing nice silken garments, which is completely fold free, like it's completely ironed nicely. And then he has his hair combed so nicely, and he has applied very nice fine scented oils to his hair, and his hair is looking lustrous, and his hairstyle is so nice, so great. And he looked at his house. He has very soft pillows placed in several places, in the sitting places, in the couches, and he has several places, several soft pillows put there. And then he has big chandeliers in his house. The house is looking so beautiful. He has nice robes on the palace, silken robes falling, and very high roofed buildings. And then he's chewing pan, and then has a lot of mirrors in this house, and at some points, he'll go and look himself in the mirror, and he will look how I'm looking. And then he has all these paraphernalia, like the utensils and everything, very fine polished copper, very fine polished silver and gold utensils that he has. Looking at all this, there is a thought in Gadadhar Pandit's mind. Why did Mukunda bring me into this place? He seems to be such a sense enjoyer. Why did Mukunda bring me here? And then Mukunda immediately understood the mind of Gadadhar Pandit. And as soon as Mukunda read what was in the mind of Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda is a very melodious singer. He is chosen by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to kind of sing. And when Mukunda sings, everybody will be in rapt attention. They'll be shedding tears of ecstasy when Mukunda sings. So Mukunda recited a beautiful shlokam from Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's singing, Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam Jigam Shayapayedapya Sadhvi Lebhe Gatim Da Truchitam Tatonyam Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Rajema. So he's singing, and as soon as Pundarika Vidyanidhi heard this, he was in rapt attention, and he remembered Krishna. Aho Bakiyam, the sister of Baki, that Putana, she has made poison, Kalakuta poison, and then she has made that poison on the breast, and she came in disguise, in the disguise of a mother, a beautiful mother, and to take care of the child who picked up the Lord, and then her intention is to kill. Now Krishna, he sucked the milk and also the poison and the life air out of her breast. And not only that, because he drank milk from her, because she pretended to be a mother, even that pretension he has taken. And Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Rajema, who can be a better Lord to take shelter of than he who did this activity, which is Krishna. So now, after remembering Krishna in this, so Pundarika Vidyanidhi's body started, getting the waves of ecstasy, and then his teeth is sputtering, and then his voice is changing. He's choking up, and his hair is standing on end, and then he's completely shivering. His whole body is shivering in ecstasy, and then in that ecstasy, he's moving his arms here and there, he's tearing his clothes, and he's this beautiful palace that he has, all these utensils and everything, he's kind of throwing everything, and then he's hitting the things here and there, and then the chandeliers are breaking, and all the things around him are completely being shattered, and this whole activity is going, he's getting more and more ecstatic, and this whole thing lasted for 6 hours. And then both Mukunda and Gadadhar Pandit is looking at that, and Gadadhar Pandit is thinking, what did I do? I thought of this person as somebody who's a sense enjoyer and who's a materialist. and look at him, look at the bhava that he has, look at the love for Krishna that he has, look at the ecstatic symptoms that he's exhibiting. He is such a pure devotee. Why did I do this? Why did I ever think of this person like this in a negative way? I have to do some atonement. And then he asked Mukunda, oh Mukunda, I have done such a offense at the feet of this great Vaishnav. What can I do? And then later, Mukunda also says that you can take initiation from him. And he decided that at this point, I make a decision that I want to take initiation from him. And then after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also instructs Pundarika Vidyanidhi to give initiation to Gadadhar Pandit. And Gadadhar Pandit is such a great personality. And this Pundarika Vidyanidhi is thinking, I am so fortunate to get such a disciple as Gadadhar Pandit. And according to the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives initiation. And so that is the exalted nature of Pundarika Vidyanidhi, who gave initiation to Gadadhar Pandit, and Ishwara Puri, who gave initiation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And these two are the God brothers, and they are the disciples of Madhavendra Puri. So that is the lineage. And after initiation, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting these ecstatic symptoms. And then in the Sriva Sangam, he used to gather all these devotees, and Sriva Sangam, he has all the devotees, including Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, and Nityananda Prabhu, and all the close associates, Advaita Acharya, and Pundarika Vidyanidhi, and everybody, all these people were there. And they used to have kirtans every night and every day. And they used to have, and this is also said as the Rasa Sthali, Sriva Sangam. So basically, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing the kirtans, he was in ecstasy while he's dancing in that particular kirtans. And both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit was leaping in air, and when they are dancing in the ecstasy in the kirtans, everybody would look at them in rapt attention. And everybody was seeing that the molten golden complexion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now turning bluish black. And suddenly Gadadhar Pandit has changed his complexion to molten gold, and he is looking like Radharani. And when they both are dancing, everybody was looking, and everybody could see Radha and Krishna actually dancing and performing the Rasa dance there. And everybody, the curtain of the Yoga Maya is removed, and everybody is seeing themselves. They can see their original Swarup for some time, and they are in Vrindavan, Bhauma Vrindavan. They are in Vrindavan, and they are seeing all these things, all these pastimes. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to exhibit ecstatic symptoms. And after getting initiation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would suddenly, whenever he sees somebody bowing down to Tulsi, once one day he sees Srivas Thakur bowing down to Tulsi, and then waves of ecstasy has erupted in his body. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not control, and there is foam coming from his mouth, and then he's leaping in the air and dancing. When he is dancing, sometimes he would land so hard on the earth that earth would shake, and it will change the orbit. It'll move out of the orbit again. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's inconceivable potency will put it back. And then sometimes his limbs would go inside his body, and he's exhibiting these kind of things, and his teeth is completely sputtering, and then his hair is standing on end, and he couldn't control himself. And then his mother is very, very concerned. Why is my Nimai, my Chaitanya, he's becoming like this? And then he goes to a lot of Ayurvedic doctors, and he asks all these some of the the doctors and everybody over there, and they say that, oh, you know what, there is a desire in his body, and his life airs are not right. So you had to actually bathe him in Vishnu oils, and you have to soak him in the Vishnu oils. Somebody will say, no, 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 Vishnu oil will not work. His disease has gone so much deep. You have to soak him in Shiva ghee and let him soak and stay there for a few days. And you should actually tie him up. You should not let him loose. This is not a good sign. And when these things are happening, and Gadadhar Pandit would come and he would ask Gadadhar. And as soon as Gadadhar goes, Gadadhar would say, Chaitanya, Chaitanya Manimai, what are you doing? So, my dear Gadadhar, tell me, where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in everybody's heart. And as soon as Gadadhar says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in everybody's heart, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately will start ripping his chest, trying to rip his chest to break it open so that he can see Krishna. Where is my Krishna? I'm in separation from Krishna. I want to see Krishna. I can't see him. So when he's saying that, now Gadadhar would pacify him. And Sachi Mata and everybody would see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot be controlled by anybody except Gadadhar Pandit. So when Gadadhar Pandit says, no, 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 Chaitanya, Krishna is there, Krishna is coming, you cool down. So when he says that, he would listen and he will stabilize. So when Sachi Mata sees these instances, she goes to Gadadhar Pandit and says, my dear Gadadhar, I want one boon from you. Please, please, never leave Nimai, never leave my son. He is intimately associated with you, and only you can pacify him. In the condition, nobody can pacify him but you. So please always stay with him and give me a word that you will never leave him. So like that, Sachi Mata makes a plea to Gadadhar Pandit to protect Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing his pastimes, and then he goes into the forest, and in that bhava, in the mood of ecstasy, one day he will look at a parrot on the bakula tree, and he has long arms. So he reaches the parrot and he catches the parrot and he says, wow, my dear parrot, I know who you are. I know your existence. You are Sukadeva Goswami. You are the one who narrated Srimad Bhagavatam. Please, please tell us, narrate the pastimes. Please sing the glories of Radha and Krishna. And this parrot starts saying, Gaurahari, Gaurahari. It's flapping its wings and it is saying, Gaurahari, Gaurahari. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very ecstatic inside his heart. He was so happy, so ecstatic. But externally he said, he'll throw the parrot. The parrot immediately flew away. And then the parrot say, and he asks, now I ask you to tell about Radharani. I ask you to tell about Krishna. Why are you singing Gaurahari, Gaurahari? And then he says, my Lord, I know who you are. You are Krishna himself came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Gadadhar himself has come in the form of Radharani herself came in the form of Gadadhar Pandit. And this is the Leela that you're doing. And the parrot is still singing, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and everybody, this is one of the beautiful instances where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the parrot, actually, Shukadeva Goswami, he reveals the identities again of both Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that they are not different than Radha and Krishna. So one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decides that he should visit Vrindavan Dham. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has this desire, and so he wants to go. And then this is the first time that he's desiring to go to Vrindavan. And but he goes up until Ramakeli, and then he meets Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. And then they would come and bow him down in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He'll pick them in the middle of the night. He'll pick them up, and then he will actually initiate them. He gives them the names of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They are talked in the town as Dabir Khaz and Sakar Malik, and they were They were working for Nawab Hussain Shah. So when they meet in the middle of the night, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes there and he gives the initiation and also the instructions to them. And a small boy, 5-year-old boy, he's actually hiding in the bushes and actually is watching this meeting. And that boy is Raghunath Das Goswami. He's Jiva Goswami. Later he's Jiva Goswami. Yeah. And he's the nephew of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. So he gives the initiation, and from Ramakeli, again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes back. And he comes back, but he actually wanted to go to Vrindavan, but he comes back. And then straight he goes to Gadadhar Pandit. And when Gadadhar Pandit says, "Oh, you are supposed to go to Vrindavan, my lord. Why did you come back?" He says that, "I could not go to Vrindavan because I displeased you." And Gadadhar is asking, "Why? When did I displease you? What did I do?" Then Gadadhar is a brahmachari all through his life, and then he directly took sannyas. He was never married, and then he not only that, he also took kshetra sannyas. So the meaning of kshetra sannyas is that they take sannyas and then they live in a particular place and they do not move out of that place. So that is a kshetra sannyas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he also gave a word to his mother, Sachi Mata, that he will be always with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he's going to Vrindavan, he stepped out of Puri. So when from Navadip, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Puri, so Gadadhar Pandit also went to Puri. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to go to Vrindavan, by that time, Gadadhar Pandit took this Kshetra Sannyas. And Gadadhar Pandit cannot go out. He cannot step out of the Puri Dham, Nilachal Dham. So, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to go to Vrindavan, and when he is going, Gadadhar says, "Oh my Lord, please, I also want to come with you. Please do not leave us." And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "No, you stay back. I have to go. And then he wants to go alone. But Gadadhar Pandit has so much desire to go with the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he also steps out of the Puri Kshetra, Nilachal Kshetra. And at this point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, "Oh Gadadhar, you took Kshetra Sannyas and you made a vow that you will not step out of Puri Dham. Now, why did you do this?" Now, Gadadhar says that, "I did this because you stepped out." So the whole point of taking sannyas is renouncing the whole world so that we can take and we can get attached and we will be attached to Krishna. So I took sannyas so that I can be attached to you. I can be attached to Krishna. But like, since you are living, I came along with you. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that when you love the Lord, whatever the Lord likes, that is what you should do, not what you like, that what you should do. So if I want to go to Vrindavan, and then so you should allow me. So Gadadhar Pandit took that words and he stayed back. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he tried to go. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leaving, he's weeping. Gadadhar Pandit is weeping and is completely in separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he looked at the Lord and he's going. And as the Lord is leaving, he looked at the Lord and he fainted. So and after that, the Lord comes back and explains all this reasoning. And he says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, "My dear Gadadhar, I have offended you. Please forgive me. I have displeased you. Before I went to Vrindavan, I want to go to Vrindavan and I displeased you in this way. So please forgive me and give your blessings so that I can see Vrindavan one day." And there is a very, very important and very, very big lesson here. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching by his own example on how to live a life of a devotee. So while we are performing our devotional service, we should not be even displeasing any devotees. Now forget about aparads. You should never do any aparads, and even displeasing a devotee is very detrimental to devotional service. So that is why our dealings with the devotees should be very, very careful, very, very attentive, and we should be extremely cautious on not to offend the devotees, not to do any aparads, including displeasing a devotee. So that is why by this pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing, and he could not go to Vrindavan because of this. And he has come back and he's asking forgiveness. Now, when the Lord, Supreme Lord himself is asking for forgiveness, we have to understand that if at all we felt that we displeased any devotee, immediately what we have to do is go to that devotee and then ask for forgiveness, ask for their blessings. It is very, very, very important. It is crucial to our movement. It is crucial to our devotional progress, that we never displease any devotee. And if at all, if there is any iota of doubt, we have to go and seek forgiveness and ask for blessings. So that should be the behavior, and that should be the mood of a devotee. So that is being displaced by this particular pastime between Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Gadadhar Pandit heard that, oh my Lord, if you want, if it pleases you that if I forgive and give blessings, you take everything, you whatever you want, but on one condition, you have to come and take prasad in my place. So that way, he has logged in with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give him some prasadam. So it's a very personal, intimate pastime. And we should be extremely cautious on not doing any aparads, and also ask for forgiveness. Now, one may think, if we do any aparads, we can get away with it. So His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says that usually when somebody does any aparad, they will get the suffering immediately. But there are people who can get along and they don't get any suffering. If somebody is getting any negative suffering, that means the Lord is happy with them. The Lord hasn't given up on them. And if somebody is thinking that, oh, I can get away with this particular aparad, I'm doing this aparad, actually I'm growing in devotional service, I'm actually becoming more and more popular. Now everybody is respecting me in the temples, and I'm becoming a bigger and bigger devotee. If somebody is thinking like that, and they are not getting any reactions, we have to understand that Krishna has left him. And he is accumulating more and more and more and more such aparads, and for every single aparad of that, he has to pay, he has to suffer in future, everything. And if you see the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj, so Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, so Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, and he went to Brahma, he went to Shiva, he went and finally met Lord Vishnu himself. Can any one of us go there? Can any one of us go and see Brahma face to face and ask him, please take me away from this particular aparad? He did that, and they could not solve his problem. He went to Shiva, Shiva cannot solve his problem. He went to Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then Vishnu is also saying that I cannot. All you have to do is go and ask forgiveness from my devotee. So the simple method and the easy method and the method which is told and reiterated in the Srimad Bhagavatam is to ask for forgiveness, and this we have to make as a fundamental thing in our lives. So it's the only remedy. There is no other remedy for aparads, especially for Vaishnava aparads, other than asking for forgiveness and blessings from that particular person whom we have offended. So that is the lesson from this particular pastime. So later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to spend 3 to 4 hours in Yameshwar Thot, which is also called as Thota Gopinath. And there is a deity of Gopinath, Krishna. And it is so beautiful, so personal, and it is very, very dear to Gadadhar Pandit. And there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit used to read Srimad Bhagavatam for 3 to 4 hours every day in that particular Thota Gopinath temple. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear when Gadadhar Pandit was reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna, a combined form. We have seen this. Now we will see few more reasons why, although Radharani came along with Krishna in the same form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why there is another form of Gadadhar Pandit. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Adi Leela 1.5, we see Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmana Vapibhuvipura Deha Bedam Gatautau Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavadyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. So Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shakti Rasmat. So in order to taste, the Hladini Shakti is the internal potency. And then Ekat Manav, they are actually one. Radha and Krishna is actually one. Api Bhuvipura, in this earthly planets, in the Bhauma Vrindavan, Deha Bedam Gatautau, they have come in two forms. Actually, they are one, but they came in the form of two forms. Now, those two forms, Chaitanyakyam Prakatamadhuna. So, in order to appear as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tadvayam, that too now has become Chaitanyam, Chaikyamaptam, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. In order to see the rasa, taste the rasa of Radha Bhava, in order to understand that is the internal reason. External reason is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he wants to establish the Sankirtan movement, and he wanted to gather all the fallen souls. But the internal reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared is he wants to taste what is that love that Radharani is tasting. When Radharani sees Krishna, what is the bhava that she is going through? What is the ecstatic symptoms that she is going through? And why is she more happy? And what is that happiness that she is tasting? Krishna wants to taste that. That is the internal reason why he came. And here, when Gadadhar Pandit is actually reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and from the lips of Gadadhar Pandit, when he is exhibiting those pastimes, when he is reading Bhagavatam and explaining the bhava of Radha and Krishna, now through the lips of Gadadhar Pandit, who is non-different than Radharani. So Radharani in the Krishna Leela, Radharani, whenever he looks at Krishna, she cannot express her feelings to Krishna. And she is so humble that she cannot even talk and she cannot express. So without expressing what she is going through, how will Krishna know? And in order to taste that, Gadadhar Pandit came, and in the Yogamaya curtain, Gadadhar Pandit is like a devotee, and then he is Radharani herself, and speaking Bhagavatam and telling the bhav of Bhagavatam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually tasting that rasa through the lips of Gadadhar Pandit. So that is one reason why Gadadhar Pandit has come separately, in order to give that nectar to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna tasting that nectar. And another thing is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to read with Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy in Gambhira. At that time, Gadadhar Pandit was not there. So Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy are actually Lalita and Vishaka Sakis. So there, when in Gambhira, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is reading with these two people, who is Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, they are actually Lalita, Vishaka and Radharani. And Radharani, they are sharing, right? Radharani is telling her feelings of separation, intense separation from Jagannath, intense separation from Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and expressing that and discussing those pastimes with Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. At that time, Radharani in the form of Gadadhara Pandit was not there. So that is another reason. So why all this happened? So Sukadeva Goswami is praising in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami praises the Sakhas and not the gopis. He is saying that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ittam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shritanam naradarakena sakam bijahru kruta punya punja. So he is in this shloka, Sukadeva Goswami is praising all the activities that all the sakhas are doing. So all the friends, all the male friends of Krishna, the sakhas, whenever they go out, they can actually hug Krishna. They can actually look at Krishna. They can actually feed Krishna with their prasadam. They can put the gopi dots to Krishna physically, and they can touch Krishna. They can decorate Krishna. And it is said that every gopa who decorates Krishna with the ornaments, the whole day he will see that Krishna with that particular ornaments. Like if hundreds and thousands of gopas are decorating Krishna, each of them will see their own ornaments being worn by Krishna. And then they can go, they can swing with Krishna, and they can go into the well, and they can shout, and they can hear the echoes, and then they can put their hands on Krishna, and like this they can day and night, they whole day they can be with Krishna. And at any point, if they don't want to go, their parents are saying, why don't you go with Krishna to the forest today? Their mothers are saying that, right? So in this way, Ittam satam brahma sukhanubhutya. They were having these pleasurable pastimes, and Sakam Vijahru Kruta Punya Punja. All these boys who have accumulated the results of life after life of pious activities is enjoying these things. Whereas the gopis, they were saying, Yadohane vahanane mathanopalepa Prenkenkanar bharudirokshanam gayanti chaina manurukta dhiyo shrukantyo dhanya vrajashriya vrukkramachittayana. So the gopis cannot see, they can see Krishna from a sidelong glance. When Krishna is going, they cannot come and stare at Krishna continuously, because they are being watched by their parents, they have been watched by their mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, and then they cannot go into the forest with Krishna. They cannot, in the daytime, they cannot utter the word Krishna freely, right? When they are dohane, when they are actually milking the cows, avahane, when they are actually thrashing all these crop material and everything, when they are doing that, and when they are doing the mathanopalena, so when they are doing the churning of the yogurt for the butter, and upalepana, when they are smearing the cow dungs, and when they are doing the prenka on the swings, they are swinging and taking care of the arbharudita. When kids are crying, when they are crying, they have to sing, and they are cleaning marjana, and they are sprinkling, they are doing all these kind of duties. And while they are doing these duties, they cannot, even while milking the cows or while doing these activities, they cannot say Govinda nicely, because what if everybody is singing Govinda and their mother-in-laws or daughter-in-laws are watching? So what they do is they think of Krishna, they cannot even utter the name of Krishna. But what they do is they say go, and Vinda they cannot say. So they are crying. They are crying in separation from Krishna, and in their throats, Diyo Shruta Kantyo. So in their throats, they are completing the remaining part of Govinda and their remaining part of Krishna. So like that, they are only internally, they are every time they are having that bhava, they are having that prema of Krishna, thinking about Krishna, and while doing all these activities, and they were thinking how fortunate are these boys who are always with Krishna. Now all those people have come in the male bodies so that they can be with, physically be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All this Swarup Damodar and in the, and Ramananda Rai, Gadadhar Pandit, they came the male bodies where they can express, they can meet face to face. So that is another beautiful reason. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was intensely crying in separation from Krishna, one day he's scribbling on the banks of the river and he's writing the name Krishna. When he wrote the name of Krishna, he knows if Shastra is true, if Krishna name and Krishna's form and Krishna's letters, everything is non different than Krishna, Krishna will manifest here. And as soon as he thought like that, while he's writing the name of Krishna, he got stuck with something, and then he removed that and he got the deity of um, Gopal, Gopinath. So then he gives that particular deity as a gift to Gadadhar Pandit. And so Gadadhar Pandit used to worship the deity, that is Thoda Gopinath deity. And then with so much love and affection. So as Gadadhar Pandit grew old, when he cannot reach the deity and serve the deity properly, so the deity actually sat down. So with cross-legged position. And that is what we see in Thoda Gopinath temple. And there is a hidden mystery why Gopinath is actually sitting. So all these gopis, they are in intense separation from Krishna, and in the Gopi Geet, they are singing Yatte Sujata Charanamburham Staneshu Bhitashane Priyadadi Mahi Karkasheshu Tenatave Matasi Tadvitatena Kim Svet Kurpadhibir Brahmatidhir Bhavadayusham Naha. So they were singing and they were in intense separation, and when Krishna left, they were all broken, and Radharani, in that intense love of separation, they are singing to Krishna like this, all the Gopi Gita. And then Krishna, when he comes back, everybody, all the gopis surround him and ask, why did you leave in the middle of the night? So at that time Krishna is saying that I cannot repay the love of you. And he's sitting in the middle of the gopis, and he's saying that I cannot. And whatever you have done, even if I use up the whole Brahma's one whole lifetime, I cannot repay the love that you have for me. So I accept your love and be happy with that. So he says that, and in that sitting position, that position is so beloved for Radharani. That is intense love that Radharani has, and among all the forms Radharani likes, and it is so dear to her heart. Now the deity sitting in Tota Gopinath is saying that I have surrendered, and Radharani likes that position because I have captured Krishna now. Krishna is mine. Krishna is with me. And in that sitting position, Gadadhar Pandit used to worship that particular deity. And that is a famous Tota Gopinath deity that we have. So these are some of the pastimes of Gadadhar Pandit, and I thank everybody, especially the temple authorities, for giving this opportunity for speaking. And so next week we'll be celebrating the appearance of Gadadhar Pandit. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll stop here, and if you have any questions or any comments or reflections, we can take now.
Haribol, Acyuta Kumar Prabhu, this is very nice, very ecstatic description of Gadadhar Pandit. I was just remembering that pastime you said where Gadadhar Pandit, he took Kshetra Sannyas, and then he was leaving Nilachal and then trying to follow Mahaprabhu, right? When Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavan. I was just thinking the corresponding pastime, what happened in Krishna Leela, right? And Krishna said, don't worry, I will finish, all this Mathura and all this killing demon business, Kshatriya business, and I will come back soon. Right? He promised, and then gopis, they thought, oh, Krishna is promising, he will probably come back. So let's wait here. And this time, Gadadhar is thinking, what if this person does not come back? Again. So let me follow him. Forget about my vows. Let me follow him.
Yeah. And Gadadhar Pandit was thinking, taking sannyas is getting attached to Krishna, and then when Krishna himself is leaving, what is the point of taking sannyas, right? That is the whole point, and that is the exhibition of the extent.
He didn't want one more lifetime of separation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very, very nice. Very nice. And so, Prabhuji, is all the pastimes you said, are all of them in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat, or there are some pastimes from other sources also?
These pastimes are from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and from the lectures that I heard from my Siksha Gurus, the lectures that I heard from my Guru Maharaj, Amarendra Prabhu, also lectures from Amarendra Prabhu, and some of the other devotees as well. So it's a collection of things, Prabhu. But all these the comparisons between Bhauma Leela and Gaura Leela, who appeared as what, that is given in Gaura Ganodesha Deepika. It is given clearly there. And there are also some books that are written by Gaura Govind Maharaj. And so from those books, we have some pastimes, some hidden gems from there. I did not directly read those books, but like I heard from lectures, and it's actually a collection of things, Prabhu. It's a reading, hearing.
Your lecture is like Rupa Padyavali.
No. All glories to
from all the
Gurus and Guru Varga. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I checked online, Prabhu. Online, there is no question or comments. I did not find anything. So I just.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. Beautiful presentation, Prabhu. I really appreciate the way you have described, major pastimes of Gadadhar Pandit, and it's very relishing, especially Gadadhar Pandit's appearance is coming, so we can meditate on these pastimes. So I have a question, Prabhu. So you were mentioning that pastimes of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, where Gadadhar Pandit was introduced with him by Mukunda Datta. Now, one side, it is said that it's very dangerous to judge devotees. Jar chitte kriya mudra, jar chitte Krishna prem kare huday, tar bakko kriya mudra vijnana bujhay. On the other side, Srila Rupa Goswami is telling that you should actually deal with devotees based on their situation. Like, Krishna sti pranata, Krishna sti yasya gira pranata vishyam, na manasadriyat, diksheti pranata vishyam bhajanti mesham, shususaya vigya bhajanana namanna, nindradi shunya vidimashpita sangalabda. And another side, the quality of a Madhyama Adhikari, that he actually does discretion. He differentiates based on the position of the devotee. Now my question is, like, if we always think, he's an exalted Vaishnava, then these these conditions that the discretion power, especially we are all sadhaka bhaktas, we are trying to actually implement devotional service, and we are not in that stage that where we see everyone in the same platform. Honestly, that is a Mahabhagavata stage. Lord Chaitanya and Srimad Bhagavad Mahaprabhu defines that. So what should be our mood, like when we actually deal with a devotee, especially an unknown devotee? How can we actually refrain from committing offenses, and yet we also maintain the Vaishnava etiquette, like based on their situation? Like if somebody is sannyasi and somebody like a brahmachari or somebody a grihastha, what should be our basic mood, if you can actually elaborate a little bit?
Thank you, Prabhu. That's a very wonderful question, and it's also a very deep subject matter as well. So what I learned from my Siksha Gurus and Guru Maharaj is Prabhu and Vaisheshika Prabhu also is, he says, all these great devotees, they say that we should never judge a devotee. Yes. Um, even if you see like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whenever he's going on travels, he took permission from his senior devotees, he took permission from the Lord, and he took permission from his junior devotees also. So when he was actually going out, he recently talked to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and made him a devotee. A few days later, he's asking him permission, I want to go for South India Yatra. So with that dealings, what we should understand, Prabhu, is we should not actually discriminate between like, in terms of our Vaishnava dealings, we have to, any Vaishnava, we have to see that they are Vaishnavas, they are great devotees. So that way we are not judging them. And with their external appearance, whether they are in a certain dress, in a certain opulence, we cannot make some judgment that, oh, this devotee might be a minor devotee or small devotee, or he came recent, or he's eating too much, and he's very aggressive. Those kind of external appearances, even if we see, we should not make any judgments and kind of decide which devotee stands. Another thing is, in an informal setting, I recently asked this question to His Grace Srivas Pandit Prabhu about, okay, Maryada Vedikrama and those kind of aspects. In an informal setting, when you don't know who that person is, or it is informal, you're just taking prasad and then you're talking, it's okay, Prabhu. I mean, your intention is not to offend anybody, but like any Vedikramana that happens also is okay in an informal setting. But especially in a formal setting, like for example, if somebody is deciding who is the next person in the parampara, now that is a big deal. That is a big deal. One cannot go ahead and say that, okay, I'm going to lead this parampara going forward, right? I'm taking like the roles of presidents of the temple and those kind of things, like it's a big things, it's a formal things. So at that time you have to consider all these things, and we have to know who is a pure devotee at that point, or if you don't know, we have to approach somebody who is a pure devotee who can guide us. But those are the things we should be extremely careful, Prabhu. But in a normal informal setting, it's fine, but we should not say it out. Even if we see something which is unusual or absurd about a situation, we should not say it out. The moment we say it out, that is when the aparad kicks in. Until the point, when we have that feeling, we have to think, my Guru Maharaj says that if you see any fall down or anybody who's an exalted devotee, but he's behaving somewhat off the track, we should immediately think that, oh, if this exalted devotee is behaving like this, what to speak of me? What will happen to me? I should be extra careful. So that should be our mood. Yeah, and then any of those things off the track, we should not participate in those discussions. We should not hear that discussion. Yeah, and we have to better give it to somebody who's senior to deal with some situations like that. Did that little bit answer, Prabhu?
Yeah, nice, bro. Actually, you gave reference to Guru Maharaj and practical example. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very good question. Okay. So there is no more comments or questions.
No more comments and questions, Prabhu.
So can we stop here, Ashraya Madhav, Prabhu?
Very well, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
Acyuta Kumar Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Krishna, everyone, we'll close the session now.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Vaishnavas.